War of 1812 radically changed the entire political party dynamic. Before the War of 1812, the Republicans opposed the Federalists in terms of the bank, the size of the military, government spending, size of the government. But after the War of 1812, we can see that there's this new era of economic nationalism that's rallied in by those very same Republicans. The era of economic nationalism is this idea that the American system, which we're going to talk about more later, needed to be implemented. The American system was a series of banks, right? So we needed to have a national bank so that we could give out loans to increase the size of American businesses, but also to pay for these things that come up like wars. The second thing was a national tariff. Now, the tariff was important because we needed to, or at least they argued that they needed to be able to protect what they called infant industries from British manufacturing. And the third thing was internal improvements, which we mentioned already. Internal improvements, things like roads, canals, and eventually railroads. And the bank and the tariff would help pay for all these internal improvements. Now, this is going to cause a lot of sectional tension because a lot of those internal improvements are going to be for the North, and then they're going to get people moving into the West. And remember, the tariff is going to be designed to help infant industries, which are mostly up in the North, and it harms the consumers down in the South, who were mostly those cash crop agricultural people that needed to buy all those consumer products. And people out in the West, well, they're going to go along with things like the bank and the tariff, but it's those farmers in the West and the South that don't really trust those banks. And we're going to see that all coming up here when we talk about Andrew Jackson and as we get further into the antebellum period.